We are now on chapter 2, Parak 2, Mishnah 4. In the Art Scrolls on page 550. And here it goes. Hu haya omer. Right, we're still talking about Rabbi Gamliel ben Rabbi Yehuda Nasi. Hu haya omer. Ase ritzono kirtzoncha. Make his will, right? Do his will, make his will, but do his will as if it were your own will. Sometimes you know what you want to do and you know what you're supposed to do. It says, do his will as if it were your will. Kadei sheyaser ritzoncha kirtzono. In order to have him do your will as if it were his will. Batal ritzoncha malifnei ritzono. And you should batal, you should eliminate your own will, your own desires or interests before his. Kadei sheyavtal ratzon acherim mifnei ritzoncha. In order that he should nullify the will of others before you. You notice it doesn't say that he should nullify his will before your will.
No.
Because he has a little bit greater understanding of what's good for us than we do. But when push comes to shove, if you are the kind of guy who's doing God's will as if it were your will, then he has room to, to try to make things work for him. There's another Mishnah that says you should act as if you and everything that you have is his. Because you and everything that you have are his. There's an interesting idea that says, God, and we'll see this in a different Mishnah, will be more clear, but Hashem never asks anything of you until he gives you a gift first. He does not ask you to make a bracha until he gives you an apple. He doesn't ask you to put up a mezuzah until he gives you a home. You don't do a bris till you get a son. Right? Every one of these mitzvahs, we have so much trouble following Hashem's will. God says, here's what I want of you. And you see it as a burden. When the reality is it's a gift. Right? He comes first to you and offers you a gift. We think that we have perspective on who we are and what our lives are about and what we need, and therefore we make choices. So one of the reasons I'm doing this series this timing right now is because I have a tumor. So for the video people don't know is right. So I've recently been diagnosed with cancer. So that cancer diagnosis, I noticed it because I was having some issues and some significant pain. So now looking at it, my will would have been, don't give me the pain. I was going through a significant set of suffering. I was very uncomfortable and things weren't working right. And I was very upset to the point that, it's like I got mad at the king of the universe. It's like, I've been through enough in the last decade through this stuff. Don't make it hurt. Why does it have to hurt? So it turns out that the form of cancer that I have is not usually discovered for 3 or 4 more years, much later in the process when it's unsurvivable. It turns out that my will is don't make me hurt. His will is, sweetheart, I'm doing you a favor by making you hurt. By making you hurt, you're going to go call your surgeon and say, why is this uncomfortable? And he's going to say, you've got a problem. And then they're going to take pictures, and then they're going to take biopsies, and then they're going to discover that you've got a huge problem. Huge problem. But it's a huge problem that has a PET scan that says you'll live. So my will is, I want to go this way. His will is, no, you want to go that way. Who knows more about what my life is, me or him? He says, minimize your will. If you can get, and it's a very hard level to get to, and I'm not there. It's very difficult for me, and I assume for others out there, to hear that Hashem has a restriction for me, has a rule for me, has something that I'm supposed to do, and I want to look at it and say, that's not how I want to do it. And for me to bend my will and say, I'll do it, is very hard. So the first one he says, just do his will. Just do it. Right? I can still not agree. I can disagree and say, Hashem, that's not what I want to do. But the first question is, do you have enough sense to do what he tells you to do? Right? When I tell my 9-year-olds, you do this, it really doesn't matter what they want to do. If I say go upstairs and go to bed, their job is to go upstairs and go to bed. And they can do it easy or they can do it hard, and I don't care if they want to or don't want to or agree with me or disagree with me. Their job at that moment is to do my will. Right? I want them to go upstairs and go to bed. They have to do it. So the first one, he says, if you can train yourself to do his will, even though it's not what you want, even though it's not your will. He will look at you and understand what you really want. And where it's appropriate, He will work what you want into His will. He will give you what it is that you want. But the second half is even harder. If you can nullify your will in front of His will, not just do His will, but come to accept that, Hashem, you have a better understanding of what's good for me than I do, and I'm going to change my perspective and do it your way. That changes everything. If you can change your perspective and do it His way, then He will change the whole world so that other people's will moves away from yours. Right? That you will have the ability to make the world run the way you want the world to run. Because what are you choosing? His will. I'm a creature of His will. Right? So the first step is you don't have to love it, but you got to do His will. And the second step is, okay, boss, you're right. Your will, I'll change my will to match your will. So that's 4.